Hey, it's Nay, and welcome back to Nay's Little Garden and Home. Listen, don't mind the little stain. I've been outside, inside, cooking, all the like. I want to start talking about fall and what a series of things centering around fall and how I go about really just adjusting to losing sunlight and having the least amount of sun and still keeping the vibes good, keeping the energy good, keeping myself feeling good with a variety of different things that one just benefit me, but also things that benefit my family. So grab you a drink, grab you a snack. So the first thing I want to touch on here, if you're seeing like yellow outside, right outside the screen, it's my laptop. But the cooler weather is for a bit of slowing down. So you kind of have this big rush and this big high activity for a good amount of months, right? Let's say 3 to 4 months of gardening, doing a lot of outdoor activities. If you have like livestock, you're doing a lot more engaging with them. If you vacations, there's a lot of things. The kids are home if they go to public school. So it's a lot of things that are happening. You're getting a lot of sunlight. It just feels like a go, 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 go situation. The sun rises early, it sets late. There's a bunch of holidays that are like, oh, with a bunch of people and doing a lot of things. And then you're almost preparing, right? Things are in abundance, right? Lots in many different ways, but specifically in the garden, right? And just produce overall, even if you don't have a garden. So you can produce pick up a lot of things: peppers, tomatoes, onions, garlic, a lot of different fruits. You're gonna be able to go to a bunch of farmers market and pick up sourdough and bread and all these other amazing things at pretty decent prices because there's such an abundance of it, right? Now, if you are doing a little bit of planning, you can actually utilize and capitalize on that abundance to benefit you for the fall and winter. And I'm not even just talking about how scary, the news can be right now when thinking about like, oh, I could lose the decent pricing and things can skyrocket in pricing and now you're spending mad money because of the things going on, right? No, I'm just talking about like in general. Strawberries are not really growing in America like that in the wintertime and it gets so cold, right? And you need hot, warm things and you need, I like a good like spicy bowl of soup and a lot of the stuff that you want to consume in the fall or winter tends to take some time, like the soups and stews, things you can let cook all the whole day, the breads and all of that good vibes, right? Just to keep you nice and warm. You can pre-prep for a lot of those things to make that time much easier. You can prep for that time in the summertime, in the springtime, almost in preparation for a small hibernation, right? Of course, you have school and work and all these things. I'm just saying to be indoors in your home more than not type of vibe, right? And that includes if you're going to the store, if you're going to buy something, buy 2 things of it and put 1 away. Or multiple things, right? You got to think a little bit about money here, right? If you know that you like to go and go somewhere like the movies or something once a month or whatever, maybe start when you go to the movies, do a movie and a half money wise, right? And put away that half. So maybe you start stocking up money so you can still do fun things. Like there's a good amount of people who work also could possibly slow down in the fall and winter. If you are one of those people who do get the blues of fall, right? Because the sun is just not like here like she normally is in the spring and summer. I think that distracting yourself and keeping yourself engaged, if you will, is the best way to go about that, right? So what does that look like? The first and easiest thing is hobbies. The two section of hobbies, as I discussed before, which is for you and for your family, right? So, and all of those two categories could kind of intermingle as you see fit. A lot of people love to jump into some type of baking. That does not need to be from scratch. You do not need to sit here and stress making everything that enters your family's mouth from scratch. You could start slow, even learning boxed stuff from scratch, maybe adding things to the box mixes that it's not asking for, then maybe starting one baked dessert at a time and getting good at that, like maybe some chocolate chip cookies, you know, a type of cookie, or brownies, or a type of cake if you find that your family likes a cake, or a pie, right? Because we sat there and we stocked up on maybe some fruits and some produce. Maybe you got some apples in your fridge, and they do last a reasonable amount of time in the fridge. Maybe you've got blueberries and strawberries in your freezer. Making cobblers and pies and all those likes is very, very awesome. Maybe doing them in smaller batches so that if it doesn't come out the best, and if you don't want to eat it, you can scrap it. Or you can force yourself to eat it. Do whatever you'd like with that. But I think hobbies are important. So baking, cooking, crocheting, sewing, maybe like doing hair, right? Learning how to braid, learning how maybe like bracelet making, looming, I've heard is really cool. Makeup, I also think learning it's really the act of learning something, and then once you learn it, being comfortable in it. For me, crocheting is something I don't really do in the warmer weather because I am outside a lot, right? So I like to crochet in the fall and winter. I also really love to watch a good show in the fall and winter as well, and I will restart certain shows every fall or every winter. New movies that are come out, I would love to watch those movies, whether at home or trying to find some time to go to the theater to go see those movies. Fall or winter just feel much more cozy. I also feel like fall and winter has some major holidays as well, and I think starting to prep for those holidays in lieu, just to make sure you don't overly stress yourself, because I think part of some of the issues that you get with feeling down and all these things is also stress, right? And stress can lead to illness. Something I do think you need to keep in mind and start maybe looking into now is something that you could let ferment or marinate to help with illnesses if you are not a big taking prescription stuff like that, right? So today I started this here. This is my first batch of this is an apple cider vinegar, and with all types of things going on in here. I'm gonna talk about this in depth honestly right now. I'm very proud of this. Most of the things in this jar are from my garden, not all, and I have not even attempted to make apple cider vinegar yet, but I want to show you the book. This is a fire cider, if I didn't say that before. Last year I did make like the whole fermented garlic cloves. Guys, I am so hesitant. I did not grow up with these type of things, so I'm learning myself on all of the practices and what's safe, what's not safe, and I'm just not that willing to play with my family's life. So I think I might have, in the early beginnings, had one or two, like two of the garlic cloves, not honey, and my husband kind of ate most of that, and then it got to the point where I kind of chucked it. I am very scared of that type of stuff, and I know there's people on here that will make you feel like you're not very bright for having a fear. That's okay. No one is gonna business and be concerned about you and your family like you are, and you just don't know things until you try them, and you have to slowly incorporate things to make yourself feel comfortable. Because the thing is, you could sit here and do all of these things, but if you're not going to actually consume it, it's a waste of time and resources, and we don't want to waste time or resources. Those are two very valuable things. And so I'm saying all of this to say, I just think that having grace for yourself in the fall and winter is also super important for your mental health. I'm really talking about your physical and your mental health and how to maintain it, right? Being hard on yourself because you feel like you didn't grow enough produce, or oh my gosh, I don't have enough land to grow these animals, or maybe you even do have some land and you got too scared to get chickens, or whatever the case may be. Girl, dust that off your shoulder, because at the end of the day, you're doing the best you can, and you're probably doing better than you were doing yesterday or last week or last month or last year or the last 5 years, right? Sometimes you have to look a little bit back to remember how far you've come, because we do things in increments, right? And I remember just like a couple days ago, I was sitting here like, wow, the beginning of October to the middle of October is typically when our first frost comes. And I started to feel like I only have 1.25 raised bed planted out of my fall crops. Now I have them started in the 6L trays, but they're small, right? And I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, I need to get them in the bed, because the growth that the plants that I had planted a week or two ago in the raised bed from that same thing has been quite amazing. And so then I started freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna get a fall crop, but I trying to nitpick what I'm okay with pulling out of my garden. Oh my gosh, I'm a failure. Like, how am I supposed to really learn to feed my family? There's people on this app here who on the 8th of basically what I'm growing on. I have all this produce, are pulling up pounds and pounds and pounds of potatoes and pounds and pounds and pounds of peppers and all of these things and canning, and I failed in getting into canning this year. I let the fear kind of overtake me, and I think I've come to the decision I need to just take a canning class. If I want to feel like I'm actually going to get into canning, I'm just going to need to take a class with someone who actually knows what they're doing, so I just feel better about using produce to can and then opening it and consuming it. That's where I am with that. And that's kind of how I just settled my soul, like, oh well, another year. Well, and a big reason why I really wanted to have this big shove to can, right, this year is because last year a lot of my produce went to waste, and the produce I did save, I put in the freezer, and some of it, like the tomatoes, were whole tomatoes, and I had no issue sometimes making my tomato soup or my tomato sauce, right, my pasta sauce from it, but it was such a long and arduous process sometimes, and I just wanted to have convenience. And I know convenience is almost like a terrible term. I feel like in the prepper / homesteading community, like, oh, like the convenience of it. Yo, we're all too convenienced and you need to learn to do, and that's fine. But sometimes just in reality, sometimes time is just too much. You don't have enough time, or time gets away from you, or you're just exhausted, or you don't feel well, or you just don't want to. And that's completely valid. Now, what does that mean? You should prep for convenience before you go and do something that you probably didn't want to do just for convenience sake. So I've been roasting all of my vegetables and blending them down and making the actual sauce, the tomato sauce, right? So I can always later on add like chicken stock and all that, make a soup. I can use whatever, and then I got the super cube set. There's 2 super cubes that come in it, and there's 4 2-cup measurements, I believe, per super cube. And I've been freezing in batches. I have wasted a lot less tomatoes this way. A lot less. Some are still, I'm working my way, okay? But a lot less has been going to waste, and that has settled my soul a lot, because now I know come the fall and winter, when I need any type of tomato base, when I want to make a tomato soup with my little sourdough, because sourdough is also a process. We're going to get into that. Walk with me. I can just take a cube, right? Because you pop them out the cube and you put them in the freezer bags together. I can open up one of the freezer bags, pull out a 2-cup cube or 2, depending on how much I need, and plop it in a pot and put on the stove. And it's going to defrost, and it's going to be good. I know that because I've already tried it. And I also think it's important to try the things that you go ahead and do. I think this is great. And that has settled my soul for this year. Maybe next year, or maybe even the year after that. The eventual goal is to learn to can. so I can start canning products so that I can have shelf stable things myself, because I love a good canned product. I also did go ahead and purchase a couple things of like tomato paste. So because I heard you can make tomato sauce and a bunch of other things from this tomato paste. And the tomato paste cans are like a fraction of the size of like if you go get a glass thing of tomato sauce. So like storing it is significantly easier. But I find tomato in some way, shape, or form is in a lot of the products, the things that I make. So I wanted to just stock up on that. I said all of that and made that a little bit more personal to say that beating yourself up sometimes, like, it's natural, but at some point you need to make the decision to just move on. And when you go and make your next set of goals, perhaps don't give yourself that exact same goal. Alter in a way that makes it more feasible. And or maybe you just need a little more time to actually achieve that exact goal. Evaluate those things. This is the book. This is the Rosemary Gladstar and Friends Fire Cider, 101 zesty recipes for health boosting remedies made with apple cider vinegar. I have been collecting a few of these books similar to this for the last year and a half, and I've been very slowly working my way through it. I find things like this, these books, I also enjoy reading these type of books in the fall and winter more. I like reading books, period. I read them anywhere from, I want to say, in my lowest, I still feel like I read a lot of books, but let's just say about 2 books to about 10 books a week. I'm a fast reader. We can talk about that another day. I am about a third through this, just trying to learn the different baseline for the things in your kitchen. And I feel like once you learn the baseline for things and what they do, it becomes much easier and feels safer to start concocting these things, because you're understanding what, not only what the problem could become, but why that problem can pop up in the first place. And when you're learning about these things, you're learning about what they do for your body and why you would use them for certain things. So like, for example, into this, I did kind of, I'm not a horseradish girly pop. I don't even know where I would get horseradish near me, but I had a bunch of things already in my house and in my garden. So in here, I grew garlic. So there's garlic in here. I grew red onion. My red onion is here. I grew jalapeno in my green stock actually, and I managed actually to forget about it long enough that one of them ripened to red. So I have 1 green jalapeno in here and 1 red jalapeno. They're small jalapenos. I might perchance look into bigger jalapenos next year. And I did grow, not from seed. I picked it up at the store months ago and it's been growing great. Rosemary and, I'm telling you, rosemary and I'm forgetting the other one right now, but I did grow the sage and the thyme from seed. The thyme has very small leaves on it. I don't know if you're gonna even be able to see that. That's the thyme right there that I grew from seed, and the sage is right there that I grew from seed as well. There is something in here, I'm forgetting the name of that, but I also picked that up from a big box store. That's okay. Another thing that helps settle my soul is to remind yourself, whether you have to set it in your phone, write it down every day, just repeat it back to yourself. You do not need to do 100% of anything. If that is your end goal, work very slowly towards it. When you do too much at one time, you're much more likely to pull back and not continue doing it than if you start small and slowly work your way up. Anyway, those are the things that I grew in here. Now, the things I did not grow and I picked up, but like not picked up, I already had in my house that I could use, is lemons. We almost always have lemons in my house because I love to make wellness shots, significantly cheaper in the house, and I love a wellness shot. So with the lemons are in here. The apple cider vinegar with the mother is also something I have not made yet. The black peppercorns, I have been cracking our black pepper for about 8 months, 10 months now, and I'm not gonna say I taste a massive difference, but I've just gotten so used to it now, which is great. So I always have black peppercorns in the house, so I added that in here as well. And I think, oh, and there's ginger. I think I attempted to start growing it, it didn't make work, but there's ginger from the store in here as well. So that's all that's in here. And then I have like a weight, like the glass weight in here, and then just the wax paper, and then I covered it like this. Started it today. It's gonna go into my pantry and it's gonna rock for about 3 to 4 weeks. And so let's say by end of September, we're gonna be good. Something also to keep in mind is cold and flu season is in fact coming. And I think the trying to hope that you don't get sick at all can also let you down. I think it's safer to assume you might catch some type of cold and to prep for that in whichever way you are completely comfortable with, whether that is go picking up stuff from the store or that is making home remedies. Whatever you need, I would start stocking up on that just so you have this stuff in the house, because it's not even about scarcity and all these other things necessarily. It's also just for, it might just happen and now you have to concern yourself with going to the store. Maybe it's in the middle of the night, maybe it's super early, maybe it's anything. So it'd be better to have it in your home, have a little bit of it to have and keep going. I buy elderberries, like dried elderberries, every year. This is my second or third year doing it. Third year, I feel like it's my third year. I think it's my third year. And I love it. The amount of sugar in some of the elderberry syrups that I could get access to is just unnecessary, and the unnecessary extra products, that it's actually very easy to make elderberry syrup. And that was the first wellness thing outside of like a wellness shot, but the wellness shot doesn't last long, right? I make enough for 5 to 7 days and that's it. The elderberry syrup was the first wellness product that sits in my fridge for about, a week or 2 weeks, because I make a good amount. Let's say about 2 weeks, and it's not something we take every single day. So it might be about 2-3 weeks of it. But I give it to my kids, I give it to myself, my husband, and I feel very comfortable doing so because I was able to buy it from the grocery store, and then they have like the lollipop elderberries and whatever. So we were able all to taste it. I felt safe. I followed the directions, and I was like, I got this, to the point where I was last year. Yeah, so this is my third year. Last year, I was giving my parents small little versions of it, like in the wellness shots of the elderberry syrup. And I was like, just take a little spoonful of it. And I think it's amazing. I love it. Find a wellness thing that you feel like it can just be the wellness shots. You're like, oh, I can start here. This is a safer spot for me to start, and just start. Start a small batch. And I find some of these wellness things, guys, of course, the more it sits, the more stuff comes out of it, but you could really just consume a lot of these things. Like a lot of the wellness things have the same 30, 40 ingredients in them that you really could just consume in different aspects. So that's things that you could look into in yourself, and reading things and reading it more than once. I feel like a lot of people feel like once you read something, that's that. No, you can keep going back because you might have missed something the first or second or third time, or maybe because of knowledge you learned later on, something hits a little different and something could start feeling more safe, right? I'm learning about moisture and how moisture is what makes a lot of things go rancid, go bad, right? Like it's just a lot of really interesting, cool things. And I think that's a hobby that is beneficial, not just to me, but to my family. For me, I love a good little romance book, right? So that's more for me. Crocheting, I do crochet some stuff for my family, but I also just crochet some stuff just for myself. So that's like a dual purpose thing. Baking, we all benefit from that. Cooking, we all benefit from that. I love making certain cultural drinks like sorrel. I love to make sorrel. I made sorrel for the first time, like a big batch of it last year. I think I made one little bottle the year before that, but I made like a batch, enough to give like some family members. It came out so good. I felt good about it. And I think that's something that's really important, why I'm even listing out hobbies, because doing things that help boost your feel good emotions is beneficial to you. I also think slowing down, I said this earlier, slowing down for the fall and winter, and gradually slowing down, you don't need to just come to a grinding stop, is important, because you are going, if you have children, and I have kids, right, going back to school, and now my kids are getting a little older, so some of their sports are about to start requiring more from me. And a hobby type of mine is pre-thinking about things and thinking about them multiple times. So instead of making myself think about something once and think very hard and almost stress think, if you will, I give myself several opportunities to think about it, right? So for example, this is a less personal type of example. I'm gonna go on a small little trip next summer to visit a family member by myself, right? And so I've already started thinking about the price of the plane tickets. When would be the best time? Mind you, this is a good amount, several months out, right? Best time to buy the tickets, best time to go there, best day to fly out, best day to fly back. What do I want to, what type of vibe am I going for look wise? What activities, general activities am I looking forward to? Because I am kind of leaving those up to my family because they live there. What is my household going to need for when I'm gone? Instead of having to, let's say, January, February, or ending of winter, trying to, or like the month of trying to figure out and rush all this. I'm giving myself several months of it coming up in my head and me solidifying a little more exactly what needs to happen. And I feel like that is the fall and winter. You don't have to make quick, very dramatic decisions. You can slowly ease into those decisions. And I think like when it comes to the sports, I had to make this decision. I'm like, do I want it to be like a snack and then dinner after the activity? Or do I want to do like a dinner and then a small snack after the activity? And I came to the decision after a couple weeks already of thinking about it. I think it would be actually better to feed them dinner earlier and then give them a little snack before bed. This way it's not like a big meal sitting in their belly right before they go to sleep type of vibe. And these are things that I just took the time to think about. So looking into the future, the fall and winter things that you're gonna be doing, that if Christmas is something you celebrate, if Thanksgiving is something you celebrate, who is gonna host Thanksgiving? What are you doing for Christmas? Do you guys do gifts? Do you guys maybe like elephant gifting would be work? Like everybody gets one person because times are not, gold willy-nilly everywhere. Maybe you do a trip every year instead, right? You take your little family on a trip. Maybe that's something. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you guys just stay in and look at it, treat it as another day. Whatever makes you happy, whatever feels good for you, do that. And even in the stressful situations, which could be holidays. Holidays, yes, are great and grand, but they're great and grand because there's people in the background making it great and grand, right? And fun. Remember to take those times for breath, like breathing. I was gonna say breathing, but breathing deep in, out. We worry so much about not making too much noise, not clicking our teeth, not doing all certain things where sometimes we just gotta let our body just relax and do whatever it does naturally to bring us back to reality, to bring us back to the now, and then go back into doing whatever you're doing, because it just really helps to center yourself. You don't wanna go too long, especially I think in the fall and winter, without rechecking in with yourself, without stopping to kind of enjoy the crackling fire. Like we don't have an actual fire in the house, but we have like the electrical ones that have a little light, whatever. Enjoy that. I'm gonna be very honest with you. We got a little scones or whatever from Costco. I got them like some months ago, right? Because we had them towards the end, I think, of last winter. Turn off the overhead light. Turn on some warm light, okay? If you have no kids or whatever, you're okay with candles. Maybe candles cheaper option, but turn those lights on, make it nice and warm and a little moody, and just chill and vibe. Drink something warm. Like, you can make your home such a vibe. Right now, you're being in your home a lot more. That's something you want to think about. Another thing, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Another thing I do think is very important is seasonal. What would you call it? Basically giving things away or selling things. If you're someone who just doesn't buy a lot and doesn't put a lot of things in your house, you may not need to do this. But I find with having multiple children and, they grow out of clothes, maybe I grow out of, who knows, whatever. You want to go through before the new season comes and just clean out your house. And I'm not talking about scrubbing, although that is also important. I'm talking about the actual things in your house. And now that the fall and winter is coming and you're more likely going to be in your house a little more as it gets colder, faster, and darker earlier, you want to make sure you have space in your house. Like your house doesn't feel like a clutter. You want to declutter That's the word I was looking for. Decluttering is super important to me. And I think every season, if you make sure to try to declutter, and or if you have seasonal items, like you can put away your summer things, right? And take out your fall things. Put away your fall things, take out your winter things. Decorating, if you're a decorative person, start thinking about putting away your summer stuff. What does fall look like for you? Is fall autumnal? Is fall spooky? Is fall warm and witchy vibes? Is fall soft girl vibe? Whatever fall is for you, maybe start slowly pulling those things out, or maybe you're still growing that things for you to have in your home. So start looking for those things before the pricing starts getting crazy or whatever. Or if you're really about that, you wait till that season is over so that things are at a massive discount, so that the following year you can really enjoy that, right? You can really enjoy it the following year's season. So now you have things at a really good price. But there's a lot of different things you can go about it, but I think decluttering is important, and decluttering is also freeing your mind. You just went through a season of a lot of activity, and I know that summertime is a lot of people's favorite season. Fall is my favorite season, but I know summer is very, very favorite for a lot of people. But it's a high activity, high movement, high season that once you slow down, you really feel like, type of vibe. And sometimes you need to slow down to even realize that you were running on high for so much, doing a whole bunch of things. Like right now I have sourdough fermenting, growing, all of this process. Oh, real quick before I let you go on the sourdough, about 2 years ago, I attempted sourdough. The bread came out fine. I did not succeed, and I try not to look at things really as failure. I look at it as an opportunity to do it correctly another time, type of vibe. It was difficult for me to keep sis going, okay? And now I have a neighbor some months ago at this point, had her sourdough and gave me a little bit of it, and I've kept her alive. Now, I've managed to do that because I implemented a new system, and the system essentially was I would let her grow at one point, and then I would separate her into 2 jars. So I would have one active on my counter and one in my fridge. In my fridge, I know there's people that are like, oh, you got to take it out every week and feed it and stuff. I also see people be like, girl, I haven't touched her in 2 months in my fridge, and they brought her back to life. She's fine and she's safe. I've gotten to that point with sourdough. I'm like, we're good. I think I've definitely got lots more to learn about it, but I'm feeling better about her. So if she doesn't make it, right, a couple of days go by and she dries out on the counter, I can toss that, right, scrape it out and toss it, and take the one out in the fridge. And then separating it is pretty easy because she was growing, right? I feed her before I put her in the fridge, separate her, and I start the process again. And I've only had to do that twice so far, and I've had her for some months now. So that's very exciting for me. Just because you fail the first time doesn't mean it's never supposed to be in your life. It might just be for another time. And some things might end up leaving sometimes, and that's because it's just not there for that time, but it could also come back. It might never come back. I have zero interest in trying to be 100% in anything. For me personally, I don't believe in 100% self-sufficiency. I do believe in community. I believe in everybody having and being good at different things. I believe in supporting local businesses. I'm heavy on supporting local businesses. I have a local tea woman. We're actually friends now. That's my friend now. And I get my loose leaf teas from her. And I've tried out a bunch of different things with her. I do have a little bit of anxiety of trying new things with having allergic reactions and stuff like that. And we'll sit there and have that tea together for the first time. Like I had stinging nettles. I can't even get into it. We'll do another video on tea itself, but now that obviously the garden is winding down, it's not completely stopped, so we'll still do gardening videos, but I want to bring a lot more things in the home, including some baking and cooking, because I've been doing that for a while now, from scratch, some things. So I have some things that I really enjoy making, things that I'm getting pretty good at. Guys, I just got really good at donuts. So good. And you know, now we're starting the fall, so I'm starting to slowly start the process of getting my elderberry syrups ready, getting my fire cider, maybe the fermented garlic. I'm not sure about that, but we're gonna maybe. But anyway, thanks so much for watching this video. Even if you only watched a small portion of it, please talk to me down in the comment section below how you feel about fall and winter, how you go about keeping your sanity for fall and winter, because fall and winter is its own different type of busy, especially if you have children. Let me know of some fireside. Do you make fire cider? Do you do sourdough? Do you do regular bread, like yeast breads and stuff like that? Let's have those conversations down below, and also how your garden did this year. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.